So we're gonna make a notebook like this. We're gonna learn how to finish the edge, the top edge or the edge around your piece. We're gonna learn 3 individual new methods that are a surefire way to improve your solder.
Just a little bit of flux. And we want to be able to tack solder this together. And since this is together, this is going to give us all of this to learn about our temperature, to learn about what speed that we should be running our bead at. And it's going to give us several different techniques. And these techniques, again, you can practice right along with me. We're going to put some flux right here on our copper foil. This is called the step-by-step method of soldering. Here we go. Let's see if we go. Oh, yeah. Step, step, step. Okay. And we're gonna go with a step here and a step here. Okay, so we see we have that little gap in between each one of them. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna flux right on top of these. Now this is important. In your head or your mind's eye, as they might say, you want to count. We want to give the solder time to bead up and melt, and you'll see that on the corner of the tip as you look down on it. So we can melt this right here, and you see it, it's melted. And if you count in your head, as you're pulling your step by step together, if you pull too fast, it's not going to work. This will give you the prettiest bead that you're trying to achieve. Now, this is the step-by-step method, y'all. This might not be for everyone, but we have 2 more methods to go. And hopefully one of these will fit in to the way you feel about your soldering. And it'll help you out. And you'll gain confidence and your work will just look so much better. Okay, everybody, we're back. And we're going to talk about method number 2. And that's my favorite, which is the 1-2 method. But here we go. This is the 1-2 method. This is my favorite. This is what I teach in my class. Now, something is going on. Oh, I hit my soldering iron. Sorry about that, guys. So when your soldering iron is too cold, it doesn't work. And this is what happens right here. So if you're getting this while you're trying to solder, that is a problem. Okay. All right. So our iron's back in check, and I just touched that. So we're going to do our 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. 1-2, just like that. So what I'm doing is I'm staying just a little bit in front of it. I'm giving it time to melt, and then I'm pulling straight up. So it's straight down and straight up. And then I can go back. See, like right here where my iron was still too cold, I can go back and drop in, give it time to melt on that corner. Make sure I have the angle of my iron correct, which is about not quite 45 degrees, and then we'll touch that up and everything. So you can do this 1-2 method. I'm not sure if I went all the way down with my flux, but I tell you, if you don't, it will surely let you know right away that you forgot to flux it. So here we go. We're using a corner of our tip. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and it's straight down and straight up, just like that. Straight down, straight up. And you're not using a whole lot of solder. Keep in mind, y'all, that, solder, the way it costs these days, you want to be able to use the minimal amount. And just 1-2 this. And it's a little bit chilly out here in the garage. So you know what? I'm going to turn the iron up a little bit from where I was before. Because again, if you're working in your garage, you're working in wherever your studio might be, you may have to adjust that temperature to feed the solder because the air ambient temperature is a little bit cooler. Now in the summertime, you may have to back it down a little bit because it's all going to be relevant to where you're working. So what I'm going to have to go back here, let this bead up, and just count it in my head, then we'll come right off. Okay. So now the next bead that we're going to run is just going to be the counting bead. In your head, when you're running a solder bead, after you do this one and you do the 1, 2, when you're cleaning those up, you're having to wait for the solder to stay melted behind the corner tip of your iron, which is right here. The corner tip of your iron. Right there. And you see, I just wiped that clean and it's turning really a pretty gold. That tells me I've got the temperature just right. See that? So now what we're going to do is we're coming in here and I'm going to flux this, and it's just a matter of counting in your head very slowly, almost as if you're counting the seconds. So we're going to start right here. We're going to make sure that that melts. And we're just going to, once we get our solder flowing, we're just going to count in our head slow enough that it beads up behind it. And you can see in the camera, you can see it beading up right behind the tip. And I'm keeping my solder fed just above that corner. And I'm counting 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can count that and allow it, again, just allow it. Here, grab it right there and just move slowly. It's going to pile up on the tip of your iron, but watch. You can pull this all the way down here. Remember, it doesn't take a lot of solder to put your window together. And if you're using 7/32 foil, that's going to be even better, which is the standard. Okay. Now, to tin the edge, and you do this on your sun catchers or anything, just take a little bit of solder and just go around that edge, just like that. And you can see, look, I didn't flux this. So here we go. There we go. Fluxed it. Look at that. Look at the difference. Okay, everybody. So I'm going to show you one more trick. I'm going to show you how to bead up that edge to finish your work. You want to make sure before you start this edge here that your piece of glass is level. And by it being level, you should be able to take this and go straight down like that. Straight down and straight up. And what that does, and the camera will show it, is it puts a beautiful bead on the top edge and rolls over to both edges and makes a finished look for your piece. So we want to make sure that this is level before we start on that edge, and both sides of the foil on each side should be tinned. And then when you come back to do this edge here, you should be able to take this and solder and just melt it. Go straight down and straight up, straight down, straight up, just like that. And this should form a beautiful rounded edge on the edge of your work. Now that's a really nice, heavy, finished edge that will keep this thing together forever.
That you watch the whole video. Every one of those things will help you solder better. If you have a rheostat, I showed you in the video the iron that I like to use, and I use a rheostat because I can control the temperature much better. We learned 3 new ways to solder in this video, and if you'll try them, make yourself a notebook and go ahead and follow along with me here at Artyrv, and I promise that your soldering will turn out much better. Barb and I want to invite you to join us every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern for a live Q&A along with glass chat, tool talk, and all the answers to the questions that you have about this wonderful, wonderful art called stained glass. Thanks again for the Artyrv channel. I'm Ed. We're in the studio. We'll see you soon.